वन गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौरकिशोर बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्री वासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नित्य is it? Yeah. नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद श्रीमार भक्ति वैभव पुरी गोसाई महाराज की जय। तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद श्रील नरहरि सेवा विग्रह प्रभु की जय। तदीय शुभ तिरुभाव तिथि की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तरभक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai Kshiptashtakamaditaranga madhe Kripa maitvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Haribol, everybody. Indira Mataji, Gargarajji, Dandavat Pranam, Madhavi Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Pradumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. All right. So, I thought we could go over. I'm going to read all the translations of what we read from this Bhagavat, from the 68th chapter. So let me just find that really quick. And then, let me just, chapter 68, the marriage of Samba. All right. Okay, I'm just making the text big. All right. Chapter 68, the marriage of Samba. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, Jambavati's son, Samba, ever victorious in battle, kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana, from her Swayamvar ceremony. Just checking. Wait, this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Samba, ever victorious in battle, kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter Lakshmana from her Swayamvar ceremony. The angry Kuru said, This ill-behaved boy has offended us, forcibly kidnapping our daughter against her will. Arrest this ill-behaved Samba. What will the Vishnus do? By our grace, they are ruling. By our grace, they are ruling. They are ruling lands that we have granted them. If the Vishnus come here when they learn that their son has been captured, we will break their pride. Thus, they'll become subdued, like bodily senses brought under strict control. After saying this, and having their plans sanctioned by the senior member of the Kuru dynasty, that means Bhishma, Karna, Shala, Bhuri, Yagyaketu, and Suyodhan set out to attack Samba. Seeing Duryodhan and his companions rushing toward him, Samba, the great chariot fighter, took up his splendid bow and stood alone like a lion. Determined to capture him, the angry bowman led Karna shouted at Samba, Stand up and fight! Stand up and fight! They came straight for him and showered him with arrows. O best of the Kurus, Krishna's son Samba was being unjustly harassed by the Kurus. That darling of the Yadu dynasty did not tolerate their attack, any more than a lion would tolerate an attack on any animals. Twanging his wonderful bow, heroic Samba struck with arrows the 6 warriors, headed by he pierced the 6 chariots with as many arrows, each team of 4 horses with 4 arrows, and each chariot driver with a single arrow. And he similarly struck the great bowman who commanded the chariots. The enemy warriors congratulated Samba for this display of prowess. But they forced him down from his chariot, and thereupon 4 of them struck his 4 horses. 1 of them struck down his chariot driver, and another broke his bow. Having deprived Samba of his chariot during the fight, the Kuru warriors tied him up with great difficulty and then returned victorious to their city, taking the young boy and their princess. O king, when the Yadavs heard news of this from Sri Narad, they became angry. Urged on by King Ugrasen, they prepared for war against the Kurus. Lord Balaram, however, cooled the tempers of the Vrishni heroes, who had already put on their armor. He who purifies the age of quarrel did not want a quarrel between the Kurus and Vrishnis. Thus, accompanied by Brahmins and family elders, he went to Hastinapur on his chariot, which was as effulgent as the sun. As he went, he appeared like the moon, surrounded by the ruling planets. Upon arriving at Hastinapur, Lord Balaram remained in a garden outside the city and sent Uddhav ahead to probe King Dhritarashtra's intentions. After he had offered proper respects to the son of Ambika, Dhritarashtra, and to Bhishma, Drona, Bahlika, and Duryodhan, Uddhav informed them that Lord Balaram had arrived. Overjoyed to hear that Balaram, their dearmost friend, had come, they first honored Uddhav and then went forth to meet the Lord, carrying auspicious offerings in their hands. They approached Lord Balaram and worshipped him with gifts of cows and arghya, as was fitting. Those among the Kurus who understood his true power bowed down to him, their heads to the ground. After both parties had heard that their relatives were doing well and both had inquired into each other's welfare and health, Lord Balaram forthrightly spoke to the Kurus as follows. 1 second, just checking everything's working okay. Hare Krishna Gopikant Prabhu and Shash Sharma ji and Bhavatarani Mataji. Looks like the connection's good today. All right. Oops, where? Oh, it's here. All right, so Lord Balaram said, King Ugrasen is our master and the ruler of kings. With undivided attention, you should hear what he has ordered you to do, and then you should do it at once. King Ugrasen has said, even though by irreligious means several of you defeated a single opponent who follows the religious codes, still I am tolerating this for the sake of unity among family members. Upon hearing these words of Lord Baladev's, which were full of potency, courage, strength, and were appropriate to his transcendental power, the Kauravas became furious and spoke as follows. The Kuru noble said, "Oh, how amazing this is! The force of time is indeed insurmountable. A lowly shoe now wants to climb on the head that bears the royal crown. It is because these Vrishnis are bound to us by material ties that we have granted them equality, allowing them to share our beds, seats, and meals. Indeed, it is we who have given them their royal thrones. Only because we looked the other way could they enjoy the pair of yak-tail fans and the conch shell, white umbrella, throne, and royal bed. No longer should the Yadus be allowed to use these royal symbols, which now cause trouble for those who gave them, like milk fed to poisonous snakes. Having prospered by our grace, these Yadavas have now lost all shame and are command us. How would even dare usurp anything that Bhishma, Drona, Arjuna, or the other Kurus have not given him? It would be like a lamb claiming the lion's kill." Sri Badarayani said, O best of the Bharatas, after the arrogant Kurus, thoroughly puffed up by the opulence of their high birth and spoken these harsh words to Lord Balaram, they turned and went back to their city. Seeing the bad character of the Kurus and hearing their nasty words, the infallible Lord Balaram became filled with rage. His countenance frightful to behold, he laughed repeatedly and spoke as follows. Lord Balaram said, Clearly, the many passions of these Clearly, the many passions of these scoundrels have made them so proud that they do not want peace. Then let them be pacified by physical punishment, as animals are with a stick. Ah, only gradually was I able to calm the furious Yadus and Lord Krishna, who was also enraged. Desiring peace for these Kauravas, I came here. But they are so dull-headed, fond of quarrel, and mischievous by nature, that they have repeatedly disrespected me. Out of conceit, they dared to address me with harsh words. King Ugrasen, the lord of the Bhojas, Vrishnis, and Antakas, is not fit when Indra and let me reread that. King Ugrasen, the lord of the Bhojas, Vrishnis, and Antakas, is not fit to command when Indra and other planetary rulers obey his orders. That same Krishna who occupies the Sudharma assembly hall and for his enjoyment took the Parijata tree from the immortal demigods. That very Krishna is indeed not fit to sit on a royal. The goddess of fortune herself, ruler of the entire universe, worships his feet. And the master of the goddess of fortune does not deserve the paraphernalia of a mortal king? The dust of Krishna's lotus feet, source of holiness for all places of pilgrimage, is worshipped by all the great demigods. The principal deities of all the principal deities of all planets are engaged in his service, and they consider themselves most fortunate to take the dust of the lotus feet of their crown, Krishna, on their crowns. The great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune and I, are simply parts of his spiritual identity, and we also carefully carry that dust on our heads. And still, Krishna is not fit to use the royal insignia or even sit on the royal throne? That's where we read up to yesterday. So let's go back here. Bhunjante kurubir dattam bhukhandam vrishnaya kila upanaha kila vayang swayam tu kuravashira. We Vrishnis enjoy only whatever small parcel of land the Kurus allow us, and we are indeed shoes, whereas the Kurus are the head. Aho Aishwarya Mattanang Ivamaninam Asambadha Giro Ruksha Kasahitanushasita. Just see how these puffed up Kurus are intoxicated with their so called power, like ordinary drunken men. What actual ruler with the power to command would tolerate their foolish, nasty words? Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. Having joked with sarcastic words, Balaram now speaks the facts in 1.5 verses. What punisher such as myself can tolerate such rough, inappropriate words from proud people bewildered by their power as if intoxicated with wine? Others may tolerate, but not me. Adya nishkoravam pritvim karishyami tamarshita grihitva halam uttasto dahan eva jagatrayam. Today I shall rid the earth of the Kauravas, declared the furious Balaram. Thus he took up his plow weapon and rose up as if to set the 3 worlds ablaze. Langalagrena nagaram udvidarya gajavayam vichakarsha sagangayam praharisham amarshita. The Lord angrily dug up Hastinapur with the tip of his plow and began to drag it, intending to cast the entire city into the Ganges. Commentary. By Balaram's desire, his plow had increased in size. As he dragged Hastinapur toward the water, he ordered the Ganges, "Except for Samba, you should attack and kill everyone in the city with your water." Thus, Balaram would fulfill his promise to rid the earth of the Kauravas while making sure that nothing bad would happen to Samba. Yanam iva ghurnang Gangayam nagaram patat Akrisyamanam alokya Kaurava jata sambrama Tameva sharanam jagmu Sakutumba jijivishaha Sorry, jijivisavaha Sa Lakshmanam puraskritya Sambham pranjalaya prabhum. Seeing that their city was seeing that their city was tumbling about like a raft at sea as it was being dragged away, and that it was about to fall into the Ganges, the Kauravas became terrified. To save their lives, they approached the Lord for shelter, taking their families with them. Placing Samba and Lakshmana in front, they joined their palms in supplication. Commentary. Seeing their city rolling about like a boat and about to fall into the Ganga, the Kauravas became fearful. To quickly appease Balaram, they immediately brought Samba and Lakshmana and placed them in front. The extra syllable in the word Jijivishavaha is not a mistake. There is a statement in the Bhasa-vritti, a commentary on Panini's grammar written by Purushottam in the 12th century. Navak Sharaika Pado Vritti Bhedosti. It is an acceptable variation of meter for one line to have 9 syllables instead of the usual 8. Well, that's convenient. Rama Rama Kiladhara Prabhavam na vidamate Mudanam na kubudhinam Kshantumar hasyati kramam. Actually, I kind of want to save that. One second. Sorry, just give me a second. Copy. Is it? Right. Right. Rama Rama Kiladhara Prabhavam na vidamate Mudanam na kubudhinam Kshantumar hasyati kramam. The Kauravas said, O Ram, foundation of everything, we know nothing of your power. Please excuse our offense, for we are ignorant and misguided. Stityutpatyapayanam Tvameko hetur nirashraya Lokan kridanakan isha Kridataste vadantihi. You alone cause the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the cosmos, and of you there is no prior cause. Indeed, O Lord, authorities say that the worlds are merely playthings for you as you perform your pastimes. Tameva murdhnidam anantalilaya bhumandalam bibharshi sahasramurdhan ante chaya svatma niruddha vishva sheshe dvitiya parishishyamana. O unlimited one of 1,000 heads, as your pastime, you carry this earthly globe upon one of your heads. At the time of annihilation, you withdraw the entire universe within your body, and, remaining all alone, lie down to rest. Commentary. The Kuru said, as you sleep on the bed of Shesh, you are one without a second, since at that time there is no one else but you existing within the three worlds. Kopaste kila shikshartam na desha na cha na dvesham na cha matsarat bibhrato bhagavan sattvam stiti palana tatpara. Your anger is meant for instructing everyone. It is not a manifestation of hatred or envy. O Supreme Lord, you sustain the pure mode of goodness, and you become angry only to maintain and protect this world. Commentary. The Kuru, the anger which you, who protects the world by sustaining the mode of goodness, are now exhibiting is simply for the purpose of instructing everyone by maintaining the principles of civilized conduct. Your display of anger has now made us civilized, whereas previously we were wicked and blinded by pride. If we read tatpara as not having a visarga is the H with a dot under it, it would make the phrase vocative. O Lord, whose object is maintenance of correct behavior. Namaste sarvabhutatman sarvashakti dharavyaya Vishvakarman namastestu tvam vayang sharanam gata. We bow down to you, O soul of all beings, O wielder of all potencies, O tireless maker of the universe. Offering you obeisances, we take shelter of you. Commentary. In case Balaram says, I will kill you, evil people, the Kuru's reply, O holder of all potencies, you have the power to either kill us or protect us. In either case, O inexhaustible one, whether we live or die, there is no loss for you. But this universe is a result of your actions, and therefore you should let us live. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Prapannai Samvignar Vepamanayanar Pala Prasadita Suprasanno Ma Bhaishtetya Bhayam Dado. Shukadev Goswami said, thus propitiated by the Kurus, whose city was trembling and who were surrendering to him in great distress, Lord Balaram became very calm and kindly disposed toward them. Do not be afraid, he said, and took away their fear. Commentary. Balaram was pleased by the Kauravas, whose city was trembling. Duryodhana paribarhang kunjaran shashtihayanan tadocha dvadasha shatanyayutani turangaman rathanam shat sahasrani rokmanam suryavarchasam tasinam nishkakantinam sahasram duhitrivatsala. Duryodhan, being very affectionate to his daughter, gave as her dowry 1,260-year-old elephants, 120,000 horses, 6,000 golden chariots shining like the sun, and 1,000 maidservants with jeweled lockets on their necks. Commentary. Duryodhan gave 1,200 elephants and 120,000 horses. Pratigrihya tu tatsarvam Bhagavan Sattvatarshava Sasuta snusha prayat suhridbhir abhinandita. The Supreme Lord, chief of the Yadavs, accepted all these gifts and then departed with his son and daughter-in-law as his well-wishers bid him farewell. Tata pravishta swapuryam halayudas Tata pravishta swapuram halayuda sameta bandhum anurakta chetasa shashank sasarvam yadupungavanam madhye sabhayam kurushu sacheshtitam. Then Lord Halayuda entered his city, Dwarka, and met his relatives, whose hearts were all bound to him in loving attachment. In the assembly hall, he reported to the Yadu leaders everything about his dealings with the Kurus. Adyapi cha puram hetat suchayar rama vikramam samunatam dakshinato gangayam anudrishyate. Even today, the city of Hastinapur is visibly elevated on its southern side along the Ganges, thus showing the signs of Lord Balaram's prowess. Thus ends the commentary on the 68th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Tomorrow we will read chapter 69. Narad Muni visits Lord Krishna's palaces in Dwarka. Okay, so now we'll read about Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu and also about Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Okay, let's start with Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. This is very short, and then we will continue. Just checking the comments really quick. Hare Krishna, Raj Bhuvan Yadav ji. All right. Let me put this in reader view. Okay. Pujapad Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. January 12th, 2023 is the appearance day of Pujapad Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja in Vrindavan, India. The following is an excerpt of a Bhava Anuvad of the Katha given by Śrīla Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj on the same tithi on March 5th, 2017. Today is Pujapad Bhakti Vaibhava Goswami Maharaj's Tirobhav Tithi. Although he appeared in a lineage of high-class Kavirajas, expert Ayurvedic doctors, he chose to become a Matavasi. He took sannyas from Pujapad Bhakti Sarvasva Giri Goswami Maharaj at Asha Maharaja's Bhajan Kutir in Mayapur. And editor's input. Pujapad Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Goswami Maharaj is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Prabhupada. Unfailing commitment to bringing prasad. Srila Maharaj used to stay in the Kovura Mat, and each time we would pass Kovura by train, he would unfailingly come to meet us with prasad in hand. Then he would also take us for darshan at the Kovura Mat. Kovura is the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first met Ramananda Rai. Later, he established a mat in Rajamundari on the east side of the Godavari River. His disciple, Sri Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, who was still a child at that time, would also accompany him to the train station with prasad. They would visit our Hyderabad mat often. Lessons Bay becomes Radhanagar. Once, Śrīmad Bhakti Vijay Purushottam Tirtha Maharaj established a mat in Visakhapatnam in the area called Lessons Bay. Pujapad Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Goswami Maharaj, Pujapad Narayan Maharaj, and myself attended the inauguration of the mat and deity installation ceremony there. I suggested for them to change the name from Lessons Bay to Radhanagar, similar to Krishnanagar. I felt very happy many years later when I was there on Mahārāja's Avirbhav Titi, and I heard his disciple announce the name had been changed to Radhanagar. Cool. An illness pastime. There is another mutt in Puri established by Śrīmad Purushottam Tirtha Maharaj, and later given to Puri Maharaj. There, Puri Maharaj performed his illness pastimes. Once, after becoming so ill that he was unable to eat or move, his disciples requested me to go and speak to him. He accepts only Charnamrita and nothing else. Because he has great affection for you, please encourage him to take something more. I went the very next morning and asked, Maharaj, why have you given up eating and drinking? In a very low voice, he explains, I have burning pain. I told his disciples to give him 1 or 2 spoons of mishri, sugar candy, with somph, aniseed, soaked in water, every so often. When I met him again after 2 to 3 days, he told me, I ate rice, brinjal, and jackfruit so far. His sevak confirms this, but that he had only taken very little, next to nothing. Eventually, they consulted with a doctor from Visakhapatnam who prescribed him strong medicines to be taken with sweet lime juice. The sweet lime juice was not a Puri at that time. They used to get it from Bhubaneswar and bring it back to him. After some time, he was restored to health and later traveled abroad to preach. Today is Śrīla Maharaj's disappearance day. I remember him and offer my obeisances to him. Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī used to stay at my sister's house when he would go to America. Right, and here's a picture of him. You can see. See, Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Maharaj. All right, so now I will read about Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu. And here, I'll show you on my website, divineofdevotion.com. I put up an article, Shri Vinod Bihari Prabhu's Santosh. See, so there's my Param Gurudev, and then there's little Śrīla Vaman Goswami Maharaj when he's only 8 years old or something like that. Isn't that so sweet? There's Śrīla Vaman Goswami Maharaj with his mother and father just before he left the mutt to stay for the rest of his life. All right, so here's a picture of Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu, though. See? So I'm going to read some from Kriti Ratna. There's I'll start off with the Viraha Mangalya. So this is the first article written in the in the Gaudiya Patrika by Param Gurudev. Let me just find it. This one, Viraha Mangalya. Make it a little bigger. That's good. All right. Viraha Mangalya, an invocation and separation. An editorial for the inaugural issue of Shri Gaudiya Patrika by Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Just checking the comments really quick. Hari Bol Yashoda Didi. Oh, nice. That's very interesting. Okay. So, Viraha Mangalya by Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. This is the first article ever written in Gaudiya Patrika. Today, amidst profuse joy and elation, all that has been awakening within me are the pangs of grief. Although I have been trying to conceal these painful emotions within my heart, My heavy sighs betray me, revealing my pain to the outside world. That burdened breath tumbles and heaves restlessly, and has now become the sounds of words. Those words are the very form of weeping. This language is either completely indistinct or partially indistinct as the throat chokes up and the voice falters. Still, I believe that only when this concealed pain of separation is professed and exposed will it subside even slightly. But even bearing this in mind, today, as I set out to write, the torment I feel by not being able to see Shishi Guru Padma or Ṭhākura Śrīla Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu, who is solely to serving him, mingles with my pen, causing it to falter at every step and proceed so slowly across the page. He who has even attracted the all-attractive Lord, Shri Krishna, and made him a captive within his heart. He who has overpowered all-powerful Bhagavan with endearment, and who can therefore deliver him into the hearts of others as he pleases. He who gathered all the qualities of Shri Hari, proving the deceived condition of the Nirguna Brahmavadis, who believe that the absolute reality is ultimately devoid of personal qualities. That Shishi Guru Padma, Srila Prabhupada, advented at the site of Purushottam Kshetra, Shri Puri Dham, as the spiritual master of the entire universe, to unfold and fulfill the deepest message of Shri Chaitanya and Shri Vyas. I am an addict of gross pleasures. My nature is heinously untamable, and I am a fallen wretch. And yet, he firmly grabbed me by the hair on my head and dragged me into his shelter, allowing me to be a particle of dust on the soles of his sacred lotus feet. His compassion surpasses even God's compassion. That Shri Guru Padma, the greatest of all exalted souls, he who is indeed the ideal model within the clan of Paramahamsas, concealed the glory of his true identity from the world out of humility, and instead introduced himself as Om Vishnupad Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Saraswati Gosvāmī Ṭhākura. The residents of this world address him with utmost respect as Srila Prabhupada. He has not just captivated all the residents of India, but the entire world with the brilliance of his scholarship. When the great thinkers of distant Western countries beheld his visionary philosophical genius, they became astounded and fell at his feet. The adherents of opposing schools of thought, who know that his logical refutations of their doctrines are as severe as bolts of lightning, remain perpetually terrorized. The immovable, impenetrable expanse of his philosophical conclusions regarding service to Adhoksha, he who exists beyond sense perception, has forced the peaks of towering snow-capped mountains to bow to him in veneration. Today, many people are tormented by the anguish of separation that arose because he has concealed himself. Today, many people are tormented by the anguish of separation that arose because he has concealed himself from us. His form, shining with the most captivating, supramundane effulgence, has embarrassed all worldly beauty. In refuting philosophies that are opposed to the conclusive truth, his heart seems to be harder than stone, yet his heart would become overwhelmed with joy whenever he saw someone performing even a very small service with excellence. He is the prime embodiment of that wonderful quality of Vaishnavas, summed up by the words, "A Vaishnav considers even the most insignificant service would be great, and he becomes at once indebted to us." Indeed, whenever he saw us render even the most insignificant service, he would heap praises upon us. And whenever he saw even the smallest mistake, he would shower nectar-like rebukes, which were always pregnant with meaningful instruction. Sri Chaitanya Mat is the original Gaudiya Mat. It is the king of all of Srila Prabhupada's other mats and the most beloved by him. Upon obtaining his most intimate and trusted servant, Śrīla Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu, who is supremely worshipful for all, Srila Prabhupada entrusted him with the entire burden of service to Sri Chaitanya Mat. Rid of worrying about the Mat, and in great ecstasy, he was able to preach in far-off lands without the slightest hesitation. Today, I realize that since the such a vile, fallen wretch as I is thoroughly poisonous, Today I realize that since the company of such a vile, fallen wretch as I is thoroughly poisonous, they have abandoned me and gone to a place where even getting any news of them is extremely difficult. O Narahari, you are known to everyone as Ṭhākura Mahāshai. Just by uttering most auspicious name, we are all reminded of the constancy with which you performed your service. You personally embody Srila Prabhupada's beloved Sri Chaitanya Mat. As long as we were in your company, we felt as if we were truly living in Sri Chaitanya Mat. You have shown the way to ideal service through your unperturbed and supremely blissful self, your Akrodha Paramananda Sarup. And striving for that ideal has become the sole aim of Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. Please see me as I try to serve your beloved Shri Gaudiya Patrika and shower your kind grace upon me, And if I ever commit any offense, please reprimand me. Just as there is a want of exemplary personalities to reprimand me when I make mistakes in my services, there is similarly a dearth of those who will express great joy when they see my small efforts to serve and encourage me congruously. O Srila Ṭhākura Mahāshai, O Srila Prabhupada, the two of you are the sole captains of my spiritual life. Even though you both remain forever immersed in the bliss of your most exalted services within the, I don't know how you say this word, realm of the spiritual domain, please remember this fallen wretch and bestow profuse blessings upon me. Again and again, I beg you, please bestow your profuse blessings upon me. Please bestow your profuse blessings upon me. Today, this prayer, full of anguish, is my only supplication at your lotus-like feet. O Srila Prabhupada, you called your beloved magazines Vaikuntha Vartavaha, carriers of the message of the Vaikuntha message. They carried all the divine messages that your predecessor Acharyas you in this mortal world. Today, please convey a message to me from your secret place within the spiritual world so that I can publish it and make the name Vaikuntha Vartavaha successful for the magazine I now begin. That was translated from Shri Gaudiya Patrika, Year 1, Issue 1, Gaur Purnima, 14 March 1940. I wanted to read something by Śrīla Bhakti Santa Goswami Maharaj. Oh, this is just a little thing that Srila Prabhupada wrote. So this is something Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote regarding this first article this first issue of Gaudiya Patrika. He said, "We are wholly," Srila Prabhupada said to Param Gurudev, he wrote this in a letter to Param Gurudev, "We are wholly indebted to you for having inspired us to remember Śrīpad Naraharida in the first article of your Śrī Gaudiya Patrika. The affectionate, caring, and sweet behavior of Śrīpad Naraharida will remain forever illuminated in my heart. The pangs of separation from him are in no way any less than the pangs of separation from Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So okay, that's also from Srila Prabhupada. Now I'm looking for Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj. Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Maharaj glorifies Param Gurudev. Anyways, I'll just read this one quick thing. It's not, this isn't so much, but I want to read the. Anyways, Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Maharaj, he says, although today we commemorate your disappearance, you are eternally absorbed in service to our most worshipful Shri Guru Padma, as you are his intimate associate. You have concealed yourself from our vision, yet you have manifested your eternal pastimes at your dearest place, Sri Dham Navadip, Mayapur. There at Sri Chaitanya, you are overwhelmed in the bliss of eternal service to Paramaradhya Sri Srila Prabhupada. This place is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu and is none different from Sri Vrindavan. Your most beloved god brother and friend, Sri Śrīla Narahari, is also there with you as your prominent assistant in the eternal service of Srila Prabhupada. Both of you blessed this fallen younger god brother with your affection at the beginning of his mat life, and he received the opportunity to serve the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada under the guidance of your lotus feet for 3 long years. So yeah, my Param Gurudev and Śrīla Narahari Sevāvigraha, they were both like. Well, let me read what Śrīla Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj writes. This. Actually, this is also Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Maharaj. One second. Hey, what happened? One second. Okay. Sridham Mayapur was the very life of Pujapad Maharaj and Naraharida. But after Srila Prabhupada's departure, the situation in Mayapur deteriorated to such an extent that it was not possible for them to remain a moment there. After consulting with Naraharida, he went to Tegaripada Koladip, where he established the main mat of Shri Gaurivaranta Samiti. Here, this is what I wanted to read. This is from Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj, who was during the time of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. He was very young, like Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Maybe a bit older than Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, but still pretty young. Like Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj was 9 years old, and Narahari, and Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj would be like in his early, something like that. So Vinoda and Naraharida's ideal character, Guru Nishta, Guru Seva, and Bhajan. So in those early days of the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's time, all the residents of the mat affectionately addressed him as Vinoda. I also called him Vinoda. He had not yet taken sannyas. As the property manager in Sri Dham Mayapur, he took full charge of overseeing the estate. He was rather debonair and would ride a horse to tend to estate affairs. Vinoda naturally commanded so much authority that we were somewhat intimidated by the very sight of him. Although he was a brahmachari, all the sannyasis and senior god brothers treated him with particular respect. At the time, Srila Prabhupada's dear servant, Pujapad Shripad Narahari Prabhu, looked after the mat in Mayapur. He was, in a way, the mother of the mat. We all addressed him as Prabhu. He had a very accommodating nature and cared for all the youngsters in the mat with affection. We therefore spoke with him openly and without inhibition. Grave and somber Vinoda and the simple and straightforward Śrīla Narahari Prabhu made an astonishing transformation. Together they enlivened their ideal character. Together they enlivened us all with their ideal character and their exemplary faith in Guru, service to Guru, and practice of bhajan. So much so that till today we have not deviated from the realm of bhajan. Theirs was a great friendship. Shripad Naraharida was always loudly chanting the names of Hari throughout the day, wherever he went, busy with various tasks in service to the mat. But we did not know what he did. We saw what he'd do in the day, but not at night. One evening, I woke up unexpectedly and saw that he was wrapped in the enchanting japa of Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, in gentle yet stricken tone. I then saw, to my surprise, that his shika was tied by a rope to a peg in the wall. He had his shika tied by a rope to a peg in the wall. I knew it was not appropriate to disturb his harinam, so I went back to sleep. In the morning, I offered obeisances at his lotus with great sincerity and inquired, Prabhu, why do you have your shika tied to a peg in the wall last night while you were performing bhajan? He dismissed me affectionately, saying, Go and study. You won't understand all this just yet. Then he continued, You see, I am busy all day with various services in the mat, so I don't get any time to chant Harinam. At night, when chanting, I tie my shika to the peg in the wall so that laziness and sleep do not overcome me. Such was his astonishing conviction in performing sadhan and bhajan. Worshipful Da was a very grave and munificent person, devoted to bhajan. From the beginning, he was well versed in Vedanta and other scriptures. He would stun everyone with his philosophical views, which were replete with the conclusions of bhakti and with his irrefutable logic. Yeah, pretty amazing, huh? And then I just wanted to read this one very short thing. Haribol Sudevi Didi. I wanted to read this very short thing. Okay, Prajumna Prabhu, no problem. Haribol Prajumna Prabhu. So I just want to read one more short thing about Narahari Sevāvigraha. I posted this on Vine of Devotion recently. So if you want to find it, you could just go to vineofdevotion.com. Here. Narahari Prabhu would gently shake me awake. This is a memory from Shripad Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Maharaj of Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math. It's published in the Raise of the Harmonist online edition. So there's Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu. An example of how to conquer the heart of Guru and Vaishnavas is seen in the life of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Every day at midnight, Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu would awaken the Sevak Santosh from his sleep. In Srila Maharaj's words. This is now Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj speaking. I would be quietly and gently shaken awake, and I'd understand that Narahari Prabhu had come. Immediately rising from bed, I'd put on a gamcha and follow behind him to the many toilets, one toilet after another. Narahari Prabhu would hold the torch, and I would take a broom and a bucket of water and clean each toilet. At that time, there was a latrine pit system. I used to empty the toilet pit filled from the previous day and throw all the stool to the designated place far away, cover it with dirt, and return. Then, after taking bath, I would rest a little. This was my daily service, and I would do it before all the Vaishnavas arose. The special type of Guru Seva performed by Śrīla Narottam Thakur was performed by our Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Vāman Goswami Maharaj, daily during the time he lived in Sri Chaitanya Math. And my Gurudev wrote a little something here also about Narahari Prabhu. Let me just find that. Find Narahari. So my Gurudev said in a class in 1990, I don't know, early 90s, my Gurudev said, Guru Maharaj, that's Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Goswami Maharaj, was like Śrīla Vāman Goswami Maharaj's father. And Śrī Narahari Prabhu, known as the mother of the Gaudiya Math, raised and nurtured him. Even if some of the boys wet their beds at night, Narahari Prabhu would clean it up. He would make sure that they all got to bed on time, and then he would wake them up in the morning and bring them to Mangalarti. He fed them and taught them how to read and write. He took care of everyone very lovingly. That is why there were so many people in the Math back then. People will only be attracted to Guru if he gives them more love than they receive from their families and the rest of the world. Therefore, Guru has to be loving like this. Then he can attract everyone. Right, so that was from my Gurudev. All right, so, actually, it's already 8:33. Anyways, if any of you have to go, you can go. But I just remembered there's sorry, one second. Yeah, there is a really nice article by not article. There's a song written by Sarojavasini Devi, my Param Gurudev's aunt. About let me just find it. It's in she wrote 2 songs actually, but we only translated one. We put it in one of the early Raise of the Harmonist issues. Let me see. I think it was, let's see, is it this one? No, it wasn't this one. Let's see. Maybe this one? Yes, here it is. Page 28 in Raise of the Harmonist, number 8, summer 2001. So we can, I'm going to sing, we can sing the song together, and then that will be it for today. What page did I say it was? What happened? I just saw it. Oh, okay, 28. Sorry. Page 28. Okay. So yeah, we can sing this and then we'll finish. Oh, there's another picture of him. Interesting. Okay. Actually, we'll read the translation first and then we can sing it. I'm just checking the comments. All right. I offer pranam unto Śrī Narahari Thakur, the Sevāvigraha, the embodiment of service, who is the well-wisher of all the jivas and who possesses all good qualities. Remember, this is written by my Param Gurudev's aunt, Sarojavasini Devi. With body, mind, and words, I worship his rosy-complexioned lotus feet. May he shower his mercy and blessings upon me. O Prabhu, be pleased with me by your divine qualities, thus making your name a dosha-darshi, one who does not see the faults of others, meaningful. I am extremely fallen, and you purify and deliver the fallen. This type of relationship between yourself, the master, and myself, the servant, is eternal. It would be beneficial for me to be born even as a dog at your lotus feet. Thus I would nourish myself by honoring your remnants, and I would be content. May my ears always remain engaged in drinking the nectar of your divine words, and may my eyes become meaningful by darshan of your seva. witnessing and being inspired by the various services that you perform. May my mouth always remain absorbed in chanting your glory, and may my head always bow down in worship of your lotus feet. May my mind always remain absorbed in remembering your qualities, and may my chitta, my consciousness, always remain absorbed in meditating upon Seva Vigraha, the embodiment of service. You are a Mahabhagavat and the best of devotees. All types of obstacles are dispelled by remembering you. Oh, please forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me for all my varieties of offenses, so that all types of impediments to my bhakti will be cleared away. You will not find any person as sinful as I in these three worlds, as there is no offense that I have not committed. I have heard that those who are Bhagavats can deliver the whole universe. This is the only hope by which I am sustaining my life. My sole prayer is that you will kindly bestow upon me the service of your lotus feet, and thus deliver this fallen soul by your own divine qualities. So I'm going to get the mardana, it's just behind me, and we can sing this together. All right, 1 second. Okay, got it. Nama Seva Vigrahaya Śrīla Narahari Namane. 1 second, actually, let me just, the mic's working. Okay. Nama Seva Vigrahaya Śrīla Narahari Namine Sarva Jiva Suhridaya Sarva Sarguna Dharine Kaya Mano Vakyavandi Auranga Charana Ahoytu ki Kripashish Korovari Shahan Suprasana Ho Prabhu Tava Nija Gune Sārtha Karo Yado Shatarashi Name Amito Patitayati Tomito Pavana Prabhu Brite E Sambandha Nitya Sanatana Kukura Janama Shreya Tomara Charane Tushta Pushta Ho Sada Uchishta Sevane Shravana Yoga Raho Vakya Sudha Pane Nayana Sartaka Ho Sevadarashan Vandana Niyukta Thako Yashira Kirtane Mastakana Mita Hok Charana Vandane Manasani Yukta Rahu Gunera Chintane Chittarata Ho Seva Vigrahera Dhyane Mahabhagavata Tumi Bhakata pradhana tomar smarane hoy vignayantar dhan. Sorry. Kshama 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 deva sarvaya parat chutu kaya mara jata bhaktira bhakatira bada mohe no papatmanahi Pavitri bhuvane henoya parada nahi na korechi mane brahmanda o tarite pare Bhagavata gane eto bharasa more kamatra prane charana saroja seva matra kori dana eya dhame nija gune Koro paritrana eya dhame necha gune koro paritrana. That was written by Sri Saroja Bhakti Devi and published in Sri Gaudiya Patrika, Year 3, Issue 11. And my Srila Gurudev wrote about him in the book, the biography that he wrote about my Param Gurudev. My Gurudev said that Śrīla Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu was one of the foremost disciples and intimate servants of Jagat Guru Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada, turning over the entire responsibility for Sridham Mayapur to his dear servant, could preach Shuddha Bhakti everywhere with a peaceful mind. Because of his sweet, affectionate behavior, the Mat residents referred to him as the mother of the Gaudiya Mat. For more about Śrī Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu, refer to Acharya Kesari Śrī Śrīmad-Bhakti Vaibhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja and his life and teachings. Śrī Sarojavasini Devi, who wrote that song that we just sang, is the first female disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and the aunt of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Jai Śrī Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Shinitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thanks, Dear Mataji. You're still here. I thought you already left. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Juki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Juki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vaibhava Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Gurudeva ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vaibhava Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vaibhava Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityalapa Vishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalapa Vishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Swaparshad Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhava Purī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tatiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Śrīla Narahari Sevāvigraha Prabhu ki jai. Tatiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Swaparshad Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Mahābhagavat Śrīla Gorkishwaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugogoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Padadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय. श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय. श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय. श्रील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय. Sārārtha-darśinī वृत्ति की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः. Vancha-kalpatarubhyascha kripa-sindubhya eva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So, see you all tomorrow for Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Narad, what is it? Narad, I think he sees Krishna in all the 16,108 palaces at once, doing different things with all the different queens. I think that's what it is. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see tomorrow. Anyways, Narad goes to Dwarka. That's all. Right. Jai Shri Radhe. See you all. Thank you for staying with me so long.